Hello, my loves. It's been one of those weeks. I'm having not the most fun January. I'm feeling a little bit meh. Um, and I mean, I got stuck in a lift for an hour at work this week, so that was really fun. And it's January is really kicking my ass, to be honest, but I am trying to smell nice at least throughout this whole thing. And it's my birthday on Wednesday, so I am very much hoping that this week is going to be better. And I've bought a couple of perfumes that I've ordered for myself after actually initially what I ordered was a beautiful silk Selkie dress in their Christmas sale, in their after Christmas sale, and I've been looking at them for ages and I've wanted one forever, but then it arrived and the Empire line on it is too high for me, so I'm going to have to sell that beautiful dress. So anyway, I thought, look, this isn't going to ruin my birthday. I'm going to order a couple of perfumes instead. I'll talk to you about those next week. My husband's also bought me a perfume, so I should have 3 new things to tell you about, show and tell next week for my birthday. But until then, I've been wearing perfumes that I own, that I've had for ages. Some of these I haven't worn for a while, so let's start with this guy. And of course, it's the UK in January. It's been rainy, it's been grey, it's been miserable, it's been windy and cold. So yeah, it's just been ugh. But let's start with this. This is from Jeanne Arthes, and this is called Lover in Dark. And it's this very dark black glass bottle with these, if you can see, kind of flowers on it. A very cheap little flowery lid, which has now taken off the little gold bit from the actual bottle. So it just looks like this when I take it off now. It doesn't matter, it was so cheap, but the perfume I don't think smells cheap at all. It's very cosy and sweet, also quite unisex. So this apparently is a dupe, and I think it is, looking at the notes, of a Hugo Boss perfume called Hugo Boss Alive. So I have had a sample of it. I bought it entirely to compare it to Lover in Dark. But the Hugo Boss one smells like poison to me. Like, there's so many modern aroma chemicals in that. It just doesn't even smell like a perfume to me. Whereas this one is really, really nice. I will have a haul coming up at some point with a couple of newer perfumes from Jeanne Arthes. And I have to say, I feel like both La Rive and Jeanne Arthes have both fallen into the kind of hell pit that is these trendy modern aroma chemicals, because everything I've tried from them, their recent releases, just smell like tar. So unfortunately, probably I won't be doing huge amounts of reviews of those houses anymore, just because even perfumes that don't smell poisonous to me in real life, like the fancy ones, are now smelling poisonous in the dupe form. Whereas before that, and especially with La Rive and Jeanne Arthes, I was able to get things that smell really good, probably the way that other people smell the real things, without them smelling like poison. And Lover in Dark is a perfect example of that. So the notes that they list for Lover in Dark are plum and apple in the top, and it's a green apple, and I can tell it's a green apple. Middle notes of thyme, cinnamon and jasmine. Base notes of cedar, vanilla and sandalwood. And when I first got this perfume, I thought it was maybe a little bit too masculine for me. But I tried it again in cosier weather, and when I was in the right mood for it, the vanilla is really quite strong here, but it's also powdery. It's a little bit woody. I can definitely get that apple, and I definitely get thyme. And a little hint of cinnamon, so it's almost a little bit Christmassy in a way. But like I said, it smells super unisex to me, Lover in Dark. And I think anyone could wear it without anyone even slightly questioning if it was a male or female kind of marketed perfume. And if I look at, let's just have a quick look at Alive. Interestingly, this has been compared by a couple of people to Boudoir from Vivienne Westwood. I actually have a sample of the new Boudoir, so I will talk about that at some point. And I feel like texture-wise, I can kind of see where they're coming from, but I don't think it actually necessarily smells like it. But the original Alive, which comes in this bottle here, very nice bottle, really kind of sleek and smart and just, very unisex looking. This one vanilla, plum, cinnamon, blackcurrant, apple, jasmine, thyme, olive tree. And I can totally imagine there is a kind of olivey thing in here, which again I think is one of the reasons why it smells quite unisex, the thyme and the olive. And also has almost a little bit of a vibe of the Hugo Boss Orange. Is it called Boss Orange for women? Which also has an olive tree note in it. And then the Hermes, is it Jardin de Cytherea or something? That they've all got this kind of slight crossover, and I think it's probably the olive tree. But anyway, yeah. So I think you can still get this, and I think it's really nice for this time of year. So it was very cozy, and it's not too melancholy, even though it's kind of, I don't know, like it's in a very dark bottle. Right. So speaking of Rive, I did wear a Rive. I had a couple of days where I was craving tangy. I still wanted sweet, I still wanted cozy, but I wanted tang. And I think tanginess is kind of a little clue as to how I'm feeling today, which is I am craving freshness again now. It's like I'm starting to come out of the whole very thick, very sweet thing, and I'm just having a little I want freshness feel, and this is sort of halfway there. So Rive, this is Fleur de Femme, which very sadly they do not make anymore, which is honestly such a shame, because I actually prefer this to what it's duping, and it's duping the original EDP of Poison Girl from Dior. Don't get me wrong, Poison Girl is really nice, and to be honest, now that I'm more used to this version, it's very possible that I would feel slightly differently about the EDP of that now. But generally speaking, it's just very balsamic for me. And this one is like on the cusp of being too balsamic. But because this has an additional cherry note in it, it somehow makes it a little bit more syrupy and a little bit less balsamic. And I just get on with it a little bit better than the original. But you can still get the original Poison Girl, and because they don't do this one anymore, I highly recommend trying to find, it's called Tank, and I think it's from Replay, their original one that's in the kind of nude coloured box. That is a really nice dupe of Poison Girl. Like, I had that in my collection once and I decluttered it because I still had this one, and I wasn't in love with that profile. But anyway, back to this guy. So Fleur de Femme from Rive is top notes of almond, sour cherry, bitter orange and peach, middle notes of sandalwood, jasmine, neroli, patchouli, rose and cedar, base notes vanilla, tonka bean and musk. So this doesn't mention any kind of balsam, but it is definitely very balsamic. It's got something in it that is almost like a balsamic vinegar feel. It's like really got that tanginess. But it's also got a lot of the cherry and the vanilla and the bitter orange and the almond. So it's also creamy and sweet at the same time. This is one of those perfumes that when I wear it, my husband often says that it's nice. And I think this is like probably the kind of perfume that is quite attractive, if you see what I mean. Like, I think it's quite girly and it's sweet, but it's not flat. It's not kind of one-dimensional sweetness. It's got a lot going on. So yeah, I enjoyed wearing this. It was really nice. Wore it for the whole day. Wore it to work. Took this whole massive thing in my bag because I'm a little bit more laissez-faire with Rive bottles most of the time. And then, oh my God, I wonder if I'll wear this again this week because I just can't get enough. This is one of my all-time favourite scent profiles. Maybe I'll have to do a video which is literally just favourite scent profiles and include like lists of perfumes that kind of fall under it. But very specifically, like, I cannot get enough of Burberry Brit. So I wore the EDP this week. Obviously, I've got quite a lot of I've got a big dent in the EDT. I've got a smaller dent in the EDP just because it's stronger. But my goodness, it's so beautiful. What an absolutely... You'll see it again soon, because obviously when I did my affordable perfumes, I obviously had to put Burberry Brit in there somewhere, so it's in one of those videos. But I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. I love it. It smells so, so good. I find it so comforting because of the almond and the vanilla. But again, it has that tangy lime and a lovely juicy pear. So it's like fruity, tangy, creamy, sweet, warm. Oh, I love it. It's got almond, lime and pear in the top, middle notes of candied almond, sugar, peony and dragée. I feel like candied almond and dragée. Anyway. This is Fragrantica I'm reading it from, so who even knows. Base notes, vanilla, tonka bean, amber and mahogany. And this is just a stronger, creamier... I don't think it's sweeter than the EDT. I think the EDT is sugary sweet and the EDP is vanilla sweet, vanilla and tonka specifically. But I am just such a sucker for pear, I'm such a sucker for almond, and I'm such a sucker for vanilla and tonka together, that all of this together and then throw in some lime, which I also love. Oh, could not get enough of myself wearing this one. I think I wore it on a day... Did I wear that? I think I might have been wearing this. No. I was wearing Fleur de Femme on the day I got stuck in the lift with 5 other people in a small lift for an hour. Anyway, let's move on from it. But I definitely did wear this to work and I couldn't get enough of myself. I love it so much. And then, let me do it actually in this specific order. I pulled this one out again. I was starting to crave a bit of freshness, but I wasn't kind of ready until this morning, to be honest. I'm making this on Saturday to actually go like actual freshy. I was thinking something that's still in the realm of being a bit sweet and a bit yummy, and I thought I'm going to try this one again because I haven't worn it for years. That's not true, but I didn't wear it for like a year, and then I tried it again. I'm like, it's alright. So I thought I'd try it again. This is Falling in Love from Philosophy. This is such a strange experience for me because this is a 120ml bottle I got new, and I actually have a dent in it, and that is literally from when I first bought this, and I was so obsessed with it. I actually have a backup, not because I deliberately bought it, because I bought this from Simply Be, thinking I was going to get 2 60ml bottles for like 25 quid or something extremely bargainous, and I actually ended up with 2 120ml bottles. See, I was really confused because it said 120ml, so I thought that was 2 60ml, so that's fine, but I've ended up with 2 of these massive ones, so I will declutter one of them because I don't love this anymore. I still quite like it, but I never feel like I'm in the mood for it. And I did put it on and I was like, oh, it smells really good today. But then I got a bit sick of it quite quickly. I don't really know why, because it is so beautiful. It's like, it's basically a blackberry, sugary blackberry musk, I think this smells like. It says it's got lily of the valley, jasmine, musk, vanilla and blackberry. I did get a little bit maybe more of the flowers this time, but it's still very sugary. It doesn't massively smell like vanilla to me. It has that sugary smell, like just very, very sweet. I like the blackberry. I like the musk. But I'm just not loving this at the moment. I'm not planning to get rid of this bottle that I've started because I feel like I loved it so much when I first got it, and I don't believe it's changed. I think I'm just going through a phase where I'm not loving it. So I'm not going to get rid of it because I think I might go back into that phase, and I do that sometimes. Like, I will love something and then I won't love it anymore, and then I'll come back to loving it again. So I will keep it, but I didn't love it this time round, and I don't know. And it's not the berry thing. I'll tell you why. Because then, in the evening, I put this on. Oh, god damn. I love this. I love this perfume. Rive My Only Wish. This is their dupe of Cacharel's Yes I Am. Sorry, bit of hiccups. I don't think... in fact, I know they don't make this anymore. Again, that kind of sucks for me because the actual Cacharel Yes I Am does have a little bit of that tarry aroma chemical in the base, and so this is a much better version for me personally. You can also, if you can find it, get Pascal Morabito's Aimer, which I do believe is also a dupe for Cacharel Yes I Am, and I have that one that I keep at work. But I just love this weird perfume, and it's not weird in an unwearable way. I find this one super easy to wear. But it's got so many notes and they're so disparate and strange, but they are amazing. And I put this on in the evening, and again, I could not get enough of myself. So let's find the notes for this beauty. So Yes I Am has notes of raspberry, tangerine, lemon and bergamot in the top. Mid notes of orange blossom, ginger flower, gardenia, jasmine, rose and amber in the mid. Base notes of caramel, milk, vanilla, cardamom, coumarin, benzoin, licorice, sandalwood and amber. I actually, again, like, I feel like I'm at this time of year or in this particular week, for some reason, I'm very sensitive to the flowers and everything. And this time I could really smell the flowers, not in a way that bothered me, but I really could get that kind of combination of creamy white florals here, which is the orange blossom, gardenia and jasmine. A classic combination that you get in kind of creamy floral perfumes, beachy floral perfumes and buttery floral perfumes. This one for me is reaching a little bit more towards the kind of florals you get in Versace Crystal Noir. It's more that I was getting, that kind of floral. But it's very much tempered down and not as kind of hardcore musky and thick, and a different feel of spiciness to that because this is so fruity. I love the raspberry note in this. So yeah, so it's not berries that are bothering me at the moment. I'm just going to have a quick look at the original Yes I Am, which I'm sure everyone knows is this really funky kitsch bottle. So Yes I Am, has it got the same notes listed? Pretty much by the looks of it. Oh, amberwood, you see. I wonder if that's what causes me the slightly tarry problems, because it says sandalwood in this one. So anyway, I love it, and I was so happy that I chose to put that on in the evening because it really perked me up. Now, this is, I don't know if you can hear, it's almost empty, this now. Sleepy from Lush. The reason I'm putting this one in here is because, I mean, this is like, I've actually got 2 empty bottles of this over there, and this will be the 3rd empty bottle. I save them up so I can take them into Lush because you get, I think, 50p per empty towards like what you're buying. So anyway, I save them up and then I go and get a little bit of a discount when I need to re-up on something. So quite a lot of the time I'm just re-ing up on Sleepy, but I already have one, a backup of this. But I just decided to try this on my skin because it's been a long time since I've tried to actually wear Sleepy. I use it on my bed sheets. I love how it smells on fabric, but I hadn't tried it on my skin for ages because I couldn't really remember what it was that I wasn't keen on my skin. So I tried it again. So this time I did really enjoy how it smelled on my skin, but it definitely smells a bit like fennel on me. And I was thinking, because I have a little sample from And Fragrances, who's Simon Constantine, who is also, I believe, well, I think he's credited as the perfumer behind Twilight, but I'm not sure whether it was Dad who came up with this, his dad who came up with the smell that was in the shower gel first, or the products first. I don't know. But either way, Simon Constantine has a perfume called Bean, which is a lavender and tonka bean perfume that has a ton of fennel in it. And I kind of like that one, but the fennel's a bit strong. But when I had this on my skin, I was like, oh, I can really, really see how similar those perfumes are. It's just the fennel in Bean is massively amped up, and that kind of slightly fennelly smell from whatever it is, like it's got like cinnamon and all kinds of stuff in it. But whatever it is that gives this a kind of spicy tone goes a bit fennelly on my skin, whereas it almost smells a little bit more kind of licoricey, anacey, a bit more cinnamony when it's on my sheets. So I'm still just going to continue to use it on my sheets, but I mean, I would happily wear this if I didn't already have so many delicious, like, sweet lavender perfumes. I've got so many that I don't really need to wear Sleepy, so I can just enjoy it as like my room smell. Like, this is basically what my room smells like most of the time, but I love it, and I thought I'd just let you know that I did give it a go in terms of wearing it. That doesn't fit too badly, that's all right. Okay, good. Ooh, where are we going to next? We've got a few things left, and then I shall tell you about some sniffing that I did. So let's go for this guy. I do think you can still get these. I wonder if Zara have just brought these back permanently. I wore this one morning. Rose marshmallow candy from Zara. This is the Jo Malone collab. Can you even see what that says? I'm going to leave it there for now, and then I'll move it in a minute. So yeah, this is the Jo Malone collaboration. They did originally come in like long, thin, flat bottles. This is a 50ml of the current formulation. I have had both of these, and I sold on my other one because it was limited edition and loads of people wanted it, so I just sold it on because at the time it was way too sweet for me, and I have to say it is still it's so sweet. It is crazy sweet. So it's listed now, current formulation, as marshmallow in the top, orange blossom in the mid, rose in the base. I do not get any orange blossom in this, not really. There is maybe a slightly lotiony feel in this. That's probably from the orange blossom. I don't get really much in the way of rose. I mainly get marshmallow, and what I think was listed in here before was like bitter orange or something like that, and it smells like a kind of marmalade-y, yeah, like a kind of marmalade-y marshmallow, maybe with a bit of rose. But I think maybe layering this with a sweet rose perfume would make it quite fluffy and nice. But man, this is so sweet. This is like crazy sweet. And I was just testing it out to see how I felt about it, because I've bought it and haven't worn it. But what I think is, when I bought this because I sprayed it on in store, and every time I smelt myself walking around afterwards, I thought I smelt amazing and I was really enjoying it. But that was in summer, and it was quite warm weather on the day that I tried and bought this. And I'm thinking this might be one of those weird perfumes, to be honest, a little bit like the Britney Spears Fantasy Elixir that I got, which I think smell nicer in warm weather than they do in cold. So for this one, I just found it intensely sweet without like anything else going on. Like, it didn't really feel like I was wearing a perfume. It didn't feel fluffy or airy. It just felt a little bit cloying. So I think I'm going to try this again in hot weather and see whether this is just one of those weird perfumes that brings something out of it when it's warm. But yeah, I mean, if you like sweet marshmallowy perfumes, this is I think it's like 18 quid, so it's just about slipping into the cheapy realm. So I would say, yeah. Oh, that reminds me, I hope you enjoyed my office cheapies. I mean, I have to say, because like the world is blowing my mind at the moment. I was watching someone on YouTube the other day, and they genuinely were talking about a perfume that I think they said was £76 or something, and they referred to it as a cheapie. And I was like, is that the world I'm living in, where a perfume that costs over £70 is considered cheap? I'm not living in I'm not getting the same wages as everyone else. Like, I don't understand. Like, life is so expensive. Like, if you bought a piece of like sirloin or something, like a really good piece of beef, and it was £76, would you refer to that as cheap? I don't know. I mean, is fragrance water any different? Like, that seems crazy to me. Am I mad? Am I just like really out of date with how much perfumes are supposed to cost? Anyway, I was just blown away. I was just thinking, yeah, I'm living a different life, I feel, to people who think that £76 is cheap for a perfume. Anyway, I digress. The next one you see of those office ones will be next month, and that will be my affordable ones. But for the rest of this month, we're sticking with cheapies, inexpensive, if I'm being respectful, because I know some people get annoyed when I say cheapies, but I just really like that. Cheapy, 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 cheapy. This used to be 20 quid as well, but it's 28 now. But you get 200ml, so in my view, I think you could still call this a cheapie because it's twice the size of this. But anyway, let's get on with it. What's the next perfume? The next two, not at all cheapies. Very much not cheapies, but I wore both of them this week. Oh, on one of the colder days. I think I might have worn this at... Yeah, I did. I wore this at home. I mean, like I said, how many sweet lavenders do I need really to be able to wear? So I wore Mon Guerlain Intense because it was a particularly cold and chilly day, and I just wanted to wear Mon Guerlain, and I thought, wow, while it's really cold, let's take advantage of having the Intense version, which is, I think, stronger, longer lasting, and I would say it's less tonka and more vanilla. I do think there's also maybe a tiny little bit more of the kind of licorice, patchouli, deeper notes here. I think, but overall, I would just say this is just exactly what it says on the tin. It is just a more intense version of the original with extra vanilla. It's beautiful. It's fantastic in cold weather. Absolutely lush. I possibly don't need both of them, but I will always have both of them from now on because I adore them. So we've got top notes of lavender, mandarin, orange and bergamot, mid notes of Tahitian vanilla, Madagascar vanilla, iris, jasmine, sambac and rose, base notes coumarin, patchouli, licorice, benzoin, Australian sandalwood and white musk. It's heaven, it's beautiful, I love wearing it, it's lush. So then I also wore, and this was when I was in my tangy mood, and it's funny because like definitely, I mean, I wore the the EDT version this week. Let me just smell these together because I do think, yeah, I mean, you can tell that they're flankers, you know, you can tell that they are from the same range. They are close enough. I've just realised I haven't checked this for lighting and focus, so let's hope it's been okay this whole time. But I do think they are quite different experiences to wear, and I think that they smell quite different. So I think I've said to the lovely Danielle before, like I really can't wait for her to get her nose on the other Mon Guerlains because she has the EDT. She's loved it. I think it's been one of her favourites this year or last year. And this just isn't the same kind of creaminess that you get in the Intense and the original version. It's still very sweet, but it's not the same kind of cozy creamy, and it's much more citrusy and it's much more tangy. So, like, I really want to hear her thoughts. But it's beautiful. It's lovely. I mean, I would say the citrus is in this when I first spray it, and I feel like that's why when I originally had I had a bigger bottle of this and another partial bottle, and I didn't keep it because I wasn't mad for the way the citruses smelt here. I do think when you first spray it, it has a slightly cleaning producty because it's got that citrus and lavender combo, which is like an orange blossom, which is an absolute classic in cleaning products. But as soon as those sweet notes come through, it gets really beautiful and it's like back on track of being Mon Guerlain. So I really loved wearing it again. Like I said, I've now got like a little, I've got quite a big backup actually, but it's only a partial. So that I don't mind if I finish this little 30ml. But yeah, I mean, Danielle, if you're watching, I know you watch my videos. I really hope that you can get some samples and smell this range, because once you've stepped foot and fallen in love into the world of lavender perfumes, there's no going back. There's no going back. So yeah, absolutely beautiful. Let me do the full set of notes for this. Lavender, mandarin, orange, bergamot in the top. Mid notes of jasmine, sambac, orange blossom, ylang ylang. Base notes Tahitian vanilla, caramel, orris, benzoin and violet. So it doesn't have the tonka vanilla thing that makes this creamy and cozy. It has, I get more caramel than I do vanilla from this, and I get a violet, which makes it smell fizzy when mixed with the citruses, but it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. This is something that I wouldn't necessarily reach for in summer because I do find it so sweet, but I love it. And then Danielle, stay with me because I've got something to tell you at the end of the video. So chocolate musk I also wore from Al Nuaim because I've been so loving Choco Musk from Lattafa. I thought I would break out my oil from Al Nuaim chocolate musk, which is the one that I fell in love with when I did not like how vanillic the Choco Musk was. Oh, my brain, trying to get these two. This one is like a caramelly take. It's almost like toffee to me. It smells like a chocolate and toffee pudding. Rolo dessert, if you're in the UK, that's what I think it smells like. I think Ron was saying that Choco Musk reminds him of Tootsie Rolls. And I was like, I can kind of see that. But like, if you imagine like a more British take on that, like a chocolate eclair or something, like a toffee chocolate eclair, which are the little sweets. I don't mean like the delicious pastry treats. I mean like the little sweets that we get that used to pull people's teeth out when I was a kid. It's more that kind of smell to me, but not Choco Musk. Oh God, chocolate musk from Al Nuaim has that kind of toffee chocolate smell. This again, I've asked, I reckon about 6 times now for Fragrantica to add this. For some reason, they still haven't got Al Nuaim on there. I assume there's a reason, but this has caramel, vanilla, chocolate praline, orange blossom, ylang ylang, hiding vanilla hiding banana nuances, vanilla, chocolate. Yeah, so basically cocoa, chocolate, caramel, musk, orange flower, vanilla, ylang ylang, praline. It's lovely. And I just found, because they have it, I got the notes from this place, anabis.com. They now have a eau de parfum version of this perfume, which they didn't used to do. They just did a body spray and the oil. So they've now got an eau de parfum. Maybe one day I'll try it and we'll see, because I might like it even more. There's also, oh my God, there's so many chocolate ones now. Look, there's Al Nas chocolate. I think Al Rahab Choco Mas now has an eau de parfum, a special one in a special bottle. Wonder if that's just because it's supposed to be like a bit prettier or whatever. But anyway, damn, there's one called Al Nas Dark Chocolate. None of these were on last time I looked. But anyway, I digress. So I think it's delicious, but actually, to be honest, I think I've flipped over and I now like chocolate musk even more than I like this one. But again, that might just be the comparison to oil to perfume, because I much prefer wearing spray perfumes, with the exception of skin musk, and actually white musk from Alyssa Ashley. Everything else I would rather have as a spray. Like the close to the skin, like musky skin but better, that's fine. Actual perfumey perfumes I would much rather have as a spray. So maybe if I tried the eau de parfum version of this, I might like it even better than the oil, and then it might match up to how I feel about Choco Musk at the moment. Ooh, that's so confusing to talk about those two things at the same time. My brain was like, chocolate musk, So I went to Selfridges, and I went to Selfridges for a couple of very specific reasons. I actually wanted to smell some of the new Kayali ones, but the Kayali booth bit is gone from Selfridges, and now they're like near the exit with all the mixture of perfumes, and they didn't really have all of the new ones. Like they've got, is it like a musk range where they've got like a matcha one and all of those, and I couldn't see them, so I was like, fine. But I also went because I told the lovely Danielle that I was going to try Shalimar L'Essence on my skin. Reason being, I did smell it in store. I sprayed it out onto a card and I smelled it from the bottle. And my general feeling when I smelt it was, it still really smells like Shalimar to me. And I appreciate Shalimar, but I don't necessarily enjoy wearing it as a perfume. I have had the eau de cologne. I had the eau de toilette. And it just smelled a little bit too citrusy, a little bit too dated, a little bit too kind of leathery. It just, it wasn't for me. But I've been watching how much Danielle loved it. I've been watching how much Claire Smith loved it. And I thought, right, I need to try this on my skin, because neither are people who tend to love like just vanilla-y perfume. So there must be something a bit magical about it. So I went and tried it on my skin. And yes, I'm sorry for what I said about Shalimar L'Essence. I totally understand why people love it. When I first sprayed it on, I was like, it smells like Shalimar. And then it just got very fluffy vanilla. Like the fluffy vanilla-ness just kind of took over everything. And the whole way home from Selfridges, I could just smell this almost marshmallowy fluffy. Maybe not quite as sweet as that, not quite as sickly. But it kind of, what am I trying to think? It kind of smells like Shalimar mixed with, I'm almost say something like La Rive Vanilla Touch, which almost smells like a vanilla essence to me. And then also a little bit, maybe of the kind of eau duelle kind of vanilla. Like there was quite a lot going on there. I might have actually made some notes. But I really enjoyed it, and I loved getting the whiffs. When I put my nose to my skin, I got more of the iris. It smelled a little bit more like the original Shalimar. I gave my arm to my husband, and he was like, "That's right." That's what he was like. All right, but I kind of fell in love with it, and so one of the things I've ordered for my birthday from My Origins, because they had the best price. It does come over from France, but I've ordered from them before. It's where I nearly always get my Lolita Lempicas from, because they have always a good price on them. I think it was £47 for the I think I went for the 30ml, the small bottle. because again, like a lot of other people, I adore that bottle. I really respect Shalimar, but I've never really found one that I would want to wear. But I have wanted that bottle, even though I really don't like the font. I just don't like the font on it. Well, I don't mind the font. I just don't like the way it's laid out. Like, I want it to be a bit more subtle, or to have like an actual like label or a little gold like thing on there, you know. But anyway, so that's one. The other one is a blind buy. I'm not going to tell you what it is until I get it, and then I can tell you whether I made a huge mistake or not. But so, Danielle, you're correct. I will now have a bottle of Shalimar Essence in my collection whenever that arrives, and I'm sorry for doubting it. I mean, I have wondered, like so many people who don't really like Shalimar very much, or at least haven't liked the previous incarnations of it, love this new one, and after wearing it on my skin, yeah, I get it. There are definitely some things that smell quite different on skin, and I feel like vanilla is one of those things that can really change. So, the other reason I wanted to go in there... How long is this video? Not too horrific. The other reason I wanted to go in there was to smell some Jo Malone. So, mainly the one I wanted to smell was Rose, Velvet Rose and Oud. Let me just get that up. So, Velvet Rose and Oud, I wanted to smell it because it is one of the top comparisons to Oud Bouquet. And it's by the same perfumer, Fabrice Pellegrin. So I was like, I'm going to smell that in case. It is a less oudy version of Oud Bouquet, because I really love Oud Bouquet, but the oud is quite strong in there. So I was like, I wonder if I can get the same thing by the same perfumer, but a tiny little bit less oudy. So, Velvet Rose and Oud from Jo Malone is damask rose, agar wood, praline and clove. The thing with this one, it is really beautiful, but I think there's more rose than Oud Bouquet, and there's less of the praline-y sweetness. So it's less of what I like about it, even though it is also less oudy. It's also just not as nice to me. It's not quite as pretty. If you find Oud Bouquet too sickly sweet, then this would be the perfect alternative, because it is very similar. Like I said, same perfumer, quite similar notes, and it is very beautiful. I just love the syrupiness that I get from Oud Bouquet, and to be honest, I've already decided I'm just going to keep Oud Bouquet, because I will have to get used to that oudy note, because I really love the dry down of that perfume. So I don't care. I'm just going to keep that. I'm going to keep the Jasmine's Marzipan, and I'm going to pass on the Santal Cardamom that smell poisonous on me, and the Roses Berberanza, both of which they just smell poisonous to me. So I'm going to keep the two that I like rather than selling the whole Grand Cru together. So, but it is really beautiful, don't get me wrong. So Velvet Rose and Oud is like a really easy oud, I'd say, and it's very pretty. But the rose isn't as nice, and the praline isn't as strong, I think, as in Oud Bouquet. But it's beautiful. It's definitely beautiful. What I will say, while I was there, I also smelt red roses from Jo Malone. When you first spray red roses from Jo Malone, it absolutely literally smells like a rose, and I love that about it. But it doesn't really stay like that. It changes up a little bit as it dries down, and it smells a little bit more like a classic perfumey rose. So to me, it smells a little bit old-fashioned. But in the very base of it, there is this lovely sort of honey sweetness. Oh, it's actually really pretty. Maybe this is one that I will try to get like one of those little 9ml mini bottles of to try out in summer. And again, like this maybe with something like this, which is also a Jo Loves collab, I think, or Jo Malone or Jo Loves collab, but it's definitely Jo Malone, who is Rose Marshmallow, and you could create this like amazing kind of Turkish delighty scent. Oh, see, now I'm smelling it again on here. I'm like, yeah, it's actually really beautiful. But yeah, I mean, I can see why Red Roses is really popular. I sprayed these yesterday. I can still smell them, even though they're both just colognes, I think. Although, obviously, the Rose and Oud is intense cologne. But, oh yeah, let me read you the notes. This makes sense, okay. So top notes are lemon and mint. Middle notes of Bulgarian rose and violet leaf. And the base notes are beeswax. It's really beautiful. Yeah, I can totally get it. This might be one that I'll try and get a mini of, or at least like a little tester, so I can see how my skin reacts to it, because it's actually really beautiful. Yeah, I'm just looking through to see if it's compared to anything that I recognise. I've never smelt that classic tea rose perfume. I've always thought about that. It's compared to Rose from Oscar de la Renta, but no, that one had like a weird, I think I had a weird pea smell in it that I didn't like. This one doesn't have that. It doesn't smell like Rosalie from Cabotin. I've got that perfume, or I had it anyway. I don't know what I did with it, to be honest. I don't know where it is. And it's not as screechy and headache-inducing as Diptyque Eau Rose. I find Eau Rose from Diptyque, both the EDP and the EDT, like screechy. This one isn't as screechy. Oh, it's lovely. Okay, so that's that one. And then I haven't got the tester strip because I tried it on my skin. But the other thing I tried was vanilla and anise, because I didn't know that they made this anymore, but they have it in Selfridges. I'm not sure if it's an exclusive there or what. And annoyingly, Harrods has the exclusive of Tafe Rose from Jo Malone, and I really want to smell that, but I don't want to have to go all the way to Harrods. It's very annoying. I need Small Aromas or someone like that to buy that perfume so I can buy a sample and see what it's like, because that is supposed to be like a really jammy rose, and if you know me, you know I've been looking for a kind of Turkish delighty jammy rose. I can't find one that hasn't either got oud or patchouli in it. That one I don't think is supposed to have much of either, if any. So I'd really like to smell Tafe Rose from Jo Malone. I'd really like to smell, what's it called? Is it called Rosebuds and Vanilla from her or something like that as well? There's like a rose and vanilla one, although I've been put off from like buying a partial bottle of that on eBay because I don't think they make it anymore. But I've been put off from buying that just because there's quite a lot of orange blossom in it. So I'm like, I wonder if that's one of those perfumes that some people say smells like Turkish Delight, but it's like basically an orange blossom perfume. But yeah, if anyone knows where I can get samples of these things, then let me know. But vanilla and anise, I knew I would like this. Like, listen to the notes. It's got top notes of star anise, fennel, neroli, bergamot, middle notes of frangipani, orchid, clove, tuberose, jasmine, base notes vanilla, tonka bean, vetiver and amber. And let's be real, really what you're getting from this is the star anise, the fennel and the vanilla. I'm kind of getting a general floral bouquet, but I don't know that I'd necessarily pull out any. Let me just have a look at... Okay, so frangipani is the one that's been voted as the top, but there's not a huge amount of difference between that, the orchid and the neroli. I don't think it smells like tuberose particularly, and I'm not thinking, oh, that's jasmine, but it has a slightly white floral smell about it to me. I really thought this was pretty, but I kept smelling it and thinking, oh, it reminds me of something that I've got in my collection. And it took me a little while, but then I realised I think it smells a little bit like Lolita Lempicka Mon Petite, which is the Lolita Lempicka perfume that is for children, basically. And I think it smells like a wedding or something. Like it's got this really nice, clean, lotiony smell to it. But it has anise in it, and it has marshmallow. It has, I think it's got orange blossom and angelica, and it's got like a vanillic sweetness to it too. And I feel like Jo Malone Vanilla and Anais basically smells like a less lotiony version of Mon Petite to me. So I don't need it in my collection, but I knew I would really like it. I would quite like to have a sample of it just to enjoy. But yeah, I think it's really, really pretty. So that's Vanilla and Anais from Jo Malone, and that one was really fun. So yeah, I don't normally go in and smell Jo Malone's, but there's been a couple that I've been like specifically interested in. I do really love the current version of Scarlet Poppy. I think that's lush. But yeah, I think that's it. I did smell a couple of other things, but they're things that I've actually already ordered some samples of, so I'll wait until the samples are here to talk about them. But yeah, I did a little mini Selfridge sniff on the way home the other day, and it was really fun. I didn't get round to everything, and I felt like I was being chased around the building by people trying to spray stuff on me, so I was just like, try and get in and out. But yeah, that is it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching my what looks like it might be a bit wonky video. Let me know what you've been wearing. Let me know if you've got any of these and what you think of them, and I will see you again next week. after my birthday, where I will have had a couple of days off and I'll be hopefully in a very, very good mood. I'll be turning 44. So there you go. Almost 45. I feel like that's when I need to have some kind of celebration. Like on my 40th, on my 45th, and then 50th, we're going on holiday. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Please do subscribe if you like listening to me just randomly babble on about things. If you're already subscribed, you're wonderful. Thank you. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.